Hey everybody, Rachel Teedy here, round 2 for the YouTube newscast. If you saw our first attempt, my computer died halfway through. So here's round 2 with my computer plugged in. Shouldn't have that problem again. But we are going to start off with some breaking news here. If you missed our first roundabout here on that show, that breaking news is for the town of Stockport. Issued a boil water advisory for the entire town until further notice. All water must be boiled before you drink it. Their website will have updates. We will also have updates at 9 and 11 o'clock. They're working to restore services right now. This is breaking news. Into the Newsroom did not have this in our earlier newscasts. So this is the first place that we are breaking this news. Town of Stockport, a boil water advisory in effect until further notice. The other major stories that we have today, probably a name that you recognize. Dennis Drue is someone that's been in the news a lot. He is the man who killed 2 young people while driving drunk and high, and he's been denied parole. That is new today. The crash happened back in 2012 on the Northway, just north of the Twin Bridges, killed Deanna Rivers, Christopher Stewart, who were both just 17 at the time. Drue was sentenced at the end of 2013, where he pleaded guilty to driving under the influence of alcohol and drugs, speeding and texting when they crashed. We spoke to the family members today. You see Mark Mulholland here speaking to one of the parents, and they say that this is the correct move, that the parole board made the right choice in denying him parole. He is expected or is eligible for release come next November. So coming up at 9 and 11, you're going to hear that interview from Mark, from the parents of the victims, speaking about this development today. Also, an update on a story we first broke on News Channel 13 live at 11 last night regarding the police chase in Troy, where several cars on both sides of the street were experiencing damage. The police chased through the one-way streets of Troy, and you can see some of the damage here that was left behind. So we found today that the driver of the BMW SUV was Rashid Kanata from Troy. Police say he was driving down 6th Avenue when that officer noticed he had no headlights on, so police tried to follow him. That's when the chase started down the one-ways, where he damaged these 8 other cars that you see here. Police say he tried to then get out of the vehicle and run, but was quickly caught. So neighbors say now they're working on getting their cars fixed, but everybody is just thankful that nobody was injured in this whole thing. Finally, there's also a vaccine clinic as well. There's a free COVID-19 vaccine clinic for kids in Schenectady. There was a monkeypox vaccine clinic in Saratoga yesterday. Now there's a rising concern about polio. So this comes after the first polio case in a decade was found in Rockland County. The state health department is urging New Yorkers to get vaccinated. A doctor with St. Peter's Health Partners says most people are already vaccinated against polio. This is a required vaccine for kids, but you can opt out. So they're saying that if you did opt out, you should probably think about getting one because it's a disease that we can eradicate if enough people have the vaccine. But of course, you slip through the cracks. And the person we spoke to earlier said this is definitely not something that we want to reemerge, so something to consider. Well, let me bring in Reed Kisselback. We have a bit of a new setup here today.
We'll see how this works.
Yeah, he is joining me here in our new podcast room, revamped, still a work in progress, but looking a lot better than what it was. So Reed, I did mute you so that we don't have feedback, but I'm going to unmute you and I'll let you take over the reins when it comes to the first warning alert day that we're having tomorrow.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for unmuting me. So nice of you. But yeah, so we do have an alert day coming into play tomorrow. If you had plans to maybe head out this evening or you wanted to get anything done outside, we do have that going on as well. And so we'll show you our CDPHP cam. Oh, hey, Rachel, what's up? We're going to try and figure this out as I go with this. CDPHP first morning cam out in Schenectady at the moment. And what we're seeing that is in the 80s at the moment, a light wind. Not much cloud cover, but what we are going to see as we head into the start of the overnight period for us here, next 8 hours, is that the temperatures will be dropping down out of the 80s into the 70s. We have mostly clear skies to start out, but the big thing to note is that the humidity goes on the rise overnight. So humidity going on the rise overnight is part of the setup as to why tomorrow is a first warning alert day. We have highs coming pretty close to the record high of 98 degrees, looking at 95 to 98 degrees. When you combine the very humid conditions we're going to see, the heat index will at points will climb above 100 degrees, and we'll have the potential when we have this kind of heat and humidity for some late day showers and thunderstorms. Good news right now in regards to the thunderstorms is that they don't look to be on the severe side. It's more so the heat. That's going to be our big story for tomorrow. So let's talk about the heat index forecast for tomorrow. That's when you combine the actual temperature outside with the dew points to give you an idea of just how it feels actually in comparison to what it actually is. So first thing in the morning, if you want to get out and get the exercise in, that's your time to do so. It's still going to feel humid, don't get me wrong, but at 7 a.m., we're in the upper 60s already to low 70s. And as we get closer towards noontime, you can already see it really starts to jump up quite a bit into the mid 90s, really across the region. So at this point, if you are maybe someone who works outside, you want to make sure that you're going to start to take plenty of breaks and having plenty of water with you, finding that shady spot too, taking that's potential time to cool off. But 2 o'clock, mid-afternoon, you can see Albany, Troy, over 100 degrees outside. And that's why we have heat advisories in effect across much of our region. So again, limiting the outdoor time tomorrow is going to be a good way to go by 4 o'clock as you're getting out from work. The heat index value is just starting to drop back down into the 90s, but we still have a few spots sitting at or just above 100. So 8 o'clock, that's when we'll start to see it feel more like the 80s again. So rain chances for tomorrow, if we're talking about that potential for some late day showers and thunderstorms, you see that chance really starts to jump up as we get towards 3, 4, 5 o'clock on, and not everybody will see some. So it will be a quick downpour in a couple spots, and then it'll move on out, but still keep that in mind for your evening commute. You might have to deal with a thunderstorm in play. So for the night tonight, we're 67 for our low. It's partly cloudy. It's mild. That humidity goes up through the course of the overnight period for the day tomorrow. It's mostly sunny. It's humid. We have that heat advisory in effect for most of our region. And again, there's the potential for an afternoon thunderstorm in spots. So the 7-day planner, that's why tomorrow's an alert day. Friday, 90, chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's staying hot and humid for us. So that's why you're seeing that active pattern of showers and thunderstorms. A cold front looks to kind of stall its way out over our region late into the weekend, Sunday into Monday. You note we dropped from the low 90s for highs towards the low 80s by Tuesday and Wednesday for us, Rachel. So we are going to be looking very closely at that.
I love this. I love summer temperatures. I love that I don't love that we're on an alert day because that means lots is happening. But,
Yeah.
I love that the cool down is a relative, 88 degrees, 81 degrees?
Yeah, I like how a cool down now when we're saying, we're going to cool down, it's still 80, which for me is not,
Fantastic.
That's not fun. 80 is still hot. So
yes, I find with 80.
80 is better than 90s any day.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Reed. We are going to wrap up with one last story here, and I'm going to switch us a little bit. There we go. All right. Last story we have is something that I think Reed is going to be particularly interested about. So there is a issue with beer. Have you heard about this beer story? You were in the earlier shows.
I was.
Massachusetts Brewery outside Boston suspending operations because of carbon dioxide shortages, which means that there's flat beer.
That's a crime.
I'm not a beer drinker. I see how people like beer, but I just can't bring myself to like beer. Flat beer, what would that mean for you?
That means I'd be drinking less beer for sure. Because flat beer is not a good tasting beer for sure. So that's unfortunate if that is the case, really.
I was talking to our PA, Steph. She helps in the studio and she helps with a lot of different things. She was telling me, I think that in Europe, they drink flat beers.
That I am not familiar with in that part, but I do believe there's certain spots where they only brew flat out in Europe. Yes.
So that's like a style.
I think that's a style choice. Yeah. Here not so much. It's more so carbonated.
There was a story earlier and the expert said that Americans don't like the taste of flat beer. It's not an American acquired taste.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that.
So is it the same equivalent of like flat pop or soda?
I'd say that's a comparable way to compare it. Yeah, you're missing out on that key part that a lot of people enjoy in the drink.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so because of this facility in Mississippi that makes most of the nation's CO2 used in beer had a contamination issue, and a train line strike in the Midwest also delaying CO2 delivery. So it's a combination of things, this perfect storm, weather pun, that on an alert day that is causing this beer issue. So not forever, but in the meantime, it is causing some very real problems for breweries in Boston and elsewhere. So anyway, hope that ends soon. But in the world of hard news, Reed, I'm going to mute you here for just a second. this is what we're talking about. We had that breaking news when it comes to that boil water advisory in the town of Stockport. We also had news about Dennis Drue being denied parole today. He was the man who killed 2 young people while driving drunk and high, killing 2 young students back in 2012. And then an update on the Troy police chase, where breaking news story at News Channel 13 Live at 11 last night. Nico Penix was out there covering just how much damage was done in this chase, learning the name, the identity of the driver tonight. So lots more to cover as we head into tonight at News Channel 13 Live at 11 and 9, tracking the heat that is coming our direction for tomorrow. Reed will have a breakdown of what you need to know heading into tomorrow. Also a look at your other top stories. Have a great night, you guys.